Would you respond or react to your teammates showing up late? Would you respond or react to your date bragging so much? We're going to show you two situations, and by the end, we want to know, would you respond or react? Now let's see what responding versus reacting looks like. Welcome to Respond versus React. It's your boy Oren Webb, the EI guy.
And Jenna.
We help you respond more and react less to difficult situations in your life. Jenna, would you like to talk to us a little bit about the situation before we show what exactly happened in this skit?
To start off this episode, I feel like we should kind of talk about how some of these skits come to be. So some of them are stories from our friends and family in our life. Some we get from the internet, and some we get from our real life.
Our real life.
And I feel like this is one from real life.
Oh my goodness. Now, which of us is the late one?
Or is it both of us?
Or is it both?
So let's dive in and watch and see how we could handle that in our own life.
So as the viewer of this skit, we want to know, would this set you off? Would this lead you to having a low emotional intelligence reaction? Here we go. Here's an example of what low emotional intelligence looks like. Hey, I'm glad you were able to make it. Yeah, I know I was running late, man. I know I didn't hit you up, but you'll be all right. Now in this moment, it's calling on you to respond or react. Here's what reacting looks like. No, you'll be all right. Next time I tell you to be somewhere, be here on the fucking time, man. All right, so Jenna, what do you think about that reaction? I saw some emotional invalidation going on.
Yeah.
She's speechless. She's speechless.
Yeah, I feel like this is obviously low EQ on both parts. So a common comment that we often get on our skits is that the first character was low EQ or something to that effect.
Yeah.
The reason we make these skits is to showcase that in life you're going to be triggered by other people, and it's how are you going to react or respond to them. So obviously the first person is very low EQ. Number one, they show up late. They didn't give the person a heads up.
Yeah.
And then they come in being sort of disrespectful, right?
Saying like you'll get over it.
Yeah.
Like that's low EQ.
So the second character in the skit is going to be very triggered by all of those things, and they just want to kind of snap on them. The real test of your EQ is how can you handle those moments where someone triggers you, someone upsets you, and still responding in a mature way.
So with that in mind, we now are going to show you the second part of the first situation, which is a high emotional intelligence response to someone emotionally invalidating how you feel about them showing up late. You ready? Here we go. So here's an example of what low emotional intelligence looks like. Hey, I see you finally made it. Yeah, my bad, man. I know I was running late, but look, you're gonna have to just deal with this, all right? Now, in this moment, you can choose to respond or react. Here's what an emotionally intelligent response would look like. I got you. How come you were running late? And if I'm being honest, I'm not all right, but I do want to talk to you a little bit about this because, it's my preference to have things be timely. Let's talk about it later, though. Cool.
Yeah, so Oren, what did you think about the high EQ version?
Well, let me tell you, I have some thoughts. Number one, he took a breath and kind of gathered himself before he communicated what he was going to say to this teammate. Second, I identified that it was his preference that people show up on time. Now, this is really significant. Why? Because more often than not, we don't know why people really care about showing up on time or showing up late. Like, why is that such a big deal for people? Well, it turns out it is because it's related to maybe their personality. And I'll give you some wisdom. The leader of the team, the leader of the business, the leader in whatever type of organization, their personality sets the culture. All right? So if you're very different from them, get ready to be triggered, okay? Or get ready to adapt to them. And I think this individual responding to the late teammate has a little bit of grace, right? They have a little bit of grace. They say, hey, it's okay, right? I'm not okay though. and I want to talk about this. I want to reconcile this, right? They're going to try and have an accountability conversation, but he chooses to set some time in between now and then and acknowledges his feelings and says, it's my preference. To me, that's high EQ behavior.
Also, I feel like creating some distance, like you were saying, between the triggering moment and then they're going to set up a time later to talk will kind of allow them to maybe calm down a little bit and have a more productive conversation. All right, so before we dive into our second skit, we want to take a moment to say that if you've been enjoying our breakdown of these skits, make sure you take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, all that stuff, because we're going to be diving into a lot more of these in the future. All right, so Oren, what is the second skit about today?
Yeah, so you probably have been on a date before. And on a date, you've probably met some people that maybe they were a little timid or maybe they were super egotistical. Well, this skit is about being on a date with someone who brags too much. I think we call it braggadocious. I don't know if that's even a word. But they are bragging so much and they're not leaving any air for you to actually share more about yourself. And on top of that, they insult you. Who knows, was it a joke or was it not? Let's check out situation number 2. Let's dive into it. Here's an example of what low emotional intelligence sounds like. Yeah, I heard this place is super tasty. So what do you do for work?
I'm a restaurant manager.
How do you like it?
It's fine. The money is great. I make over $200K a year.
Wow.
But everybody I work with is so stupid. That place would just fall apart without me. I mean, it's definitely not an easy job like yours is.
Now in this moment, you can respond or react. Here's what a reaction looks like. Whoa, I earned 2 degrees that got me my job. And I'm pretty sure at a restaurant, you don't need a degree to serve hamburgers and french fries, all right?
Yikes. What do you think about that, Oren?
Yeah, this had low EQ behavior written all over it. And I also do want to share, this situation was viral on TikTok and Instagram Reels. I think it got a combined total of 3 million views, which is pretty wild. This is, I think, a very relatable experience where you're going out on a date. You don't know who you're going to be talking to. But as you can see, she made a comment, right? She's saying, I make $200,000 a year. My job isn't easy like yours is. Whoa, that's an insult, right? That's an insult. Why would she do that? We don't know. We can't control other people. Sometimes it happens. But what would you do? Respond or react? In this situation, he reacted. And he threw the insult back, saying, hey, I got 2 degrees, right? I'm intelligent. I'm competent. And I'm not flipping hamburgers and serving french fries at a restaurant. Burn. Flame emoji, flame emoji, flame emoji. Wow. What do you think, Jenna?
I agree. And also, I think was this the first viral talk that we made? I think this was.
The first one to break over... No. This is the second one that broke over a million.
But still in the beginning.
Of this type of skit, though, this was the first to break over a million views.
Yeah.
2 million,
so
2.4
this one
million.
is a special one to us.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like my acting has gotten a lot better.
Your acting is top
Watching
tier.
this, I feel like I've very much improved.
What do y'all think? Drop a comment. How great is her acting? Scale of 1 to 5. 5 being great, 1 being what?
Also, I want to cut my hair again that length. But anyways, back on track. This is not a good date.
It's
So
not going
I'm
good at all.
curious how they're going to save it in the high EQ version.
Now let's get to that. We're going to cue up the high EQ response to the egotistical and negative person on the date. Yeah, I heard this place is super tasty. So what do you do for work?
I'm a restaurant manager.
How do you like it?
It's fine. The money is great. I make over $200K a year.
Wow.
But everybody I work with is so stupid. That place would just fall apart without me. I mean, it's definitely not an easy job like yours is.
Now in this moment, you can respond or react. Here's what an emotionally intelligent response would sound like. What makes you think my job's so easy? It sounds like you don't really like your job. And I'm curious, have you ever looked into doing anything else?
Yeah, it sounds like he was coming in with curiosity, which is kind of a theme from the other skit that we watched. I feel like that is a great way to diffuse tension, just asking someone a question to kind of better understand what's going on. Because it does sound like she does not enjoy her job. she seems sort of miserable. And oftentimes, people are kind of communicating from, like, if she was happy with her job, she'd probably show up to the date a little bit more positive.
All right, so now you've seen situation number 2, what would you do? Would you react negatively? Would you throw an insult back if you were on a date and they're bragging a lot and throwing insults your way? Or would you respond effectively, shift the conversation, ask them more about themselves, and also share more about yourself and why you value the work that you do?
I mentioned this at the beginning of our video, but we get our skit ideas from lots of different places. This one in particular, I'm pretty sure we got from one of our friends. So this was sort of a true story. And if you have any low EQ moments that you'd like to share, let us know, because we would love to make a skit about it or talk about it here on our episodes.
All right, y'all. So if you found this episode 2 helpful, again, give it a like, subscribe, share with your friends. What would you do, right? Drop a comment. What would you do? Would you react or respond to situation number 1? Would you react or respond to situation number 2? We'll be back for episode 3 coming soon. Thanks for joining, and remember to
react less and respond more.
That's right. That's my wife right there. She's great.